Hello everybody. A few minutes late, sorry. Should know better. I should check my live stream connection stuff like an hour before I start. Something's always broken or disconnected or needs to be refreshed or something. It's my bad. So hello everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live. We are here today with our dragon again. Hi Odari. Hi everybody on Facebook, YouTube. Lurking for a bit, cooking dinner. Dinner sounds delicious. Alrighty. So I did not finish all the highlights like I discussed last week. I wasn't sure if I was going to get there. But I took a much needed kind of weekend off this weekend. I had fabulous company this weekend. And did some stuff around my area here, around my city. Went some shopping, did some events. So great. So it was a really fun weekend, but I just took a bit of a break from all of the creating and all this kind of chaos I've been doing, just to rest a little bit, and it feels amazing. So we're going to get back to it now, back to some illustrations. Are you going to come sit with us? Okay. Back to some illustrating. We're going to work on this today. I'm going to talk a little bit what's coming to the Hues and Tones shop this season. All that's going to start happening really, really soon. So we'll talk about all that today. So we are going to continue with our highlights. So if you were not here last week, we did this layer here. And we started putting some highlights in. And I think it's starting to look fantastic. I had that same kind of weekend. It's nice. It's, it's time to, sometimes you got to just be really careful, because I knew with all this creative juices I've been having, I've been like running like crazy. I've been pushing all my ideas, trying to get them all out. And I knew burnout was coming. I knew that it was imminent, but I also didn't want to kind of waste the creative juices. But this felt like a really good weekend to just kind of spend with some families, spend some visiting, and do some kind of just something a little different on the weekend. So it was really good, and I feel really awesome after it. A little tired today, but we'll recuperate over the week. It'll be fine. Yeah, so this kind of... this is where we started doing the overlay, and I think that the depth that's in here is just turning out so nicely, and the kind of glow that highlight is giving the red is just, I don't even know what to say. I'm so stoked. So let's continue. I am going to turn these big heavy shadows off. Did I turn them off last week when I was working? No, maybe not. Maybe we can keep them. We'll just see. We'll turn them off for now, this one off for now, just so I can make sure I'm getting the right red coverage here, and I'll turn them back on. All right. So yeah, really good weekend of visiting. The fall's kind of like shaping up to be a little bit busy, which is okay. I don't mind it. Just trying to just be aware of it. Don't let it get too busy. Excuse me, we're gonna leave the neighbors be, okay? Yeah, getting a little busy, but you know, it's still fun things. Just keeping it balanced is the plan. All right. Okay. Yeah, so we're just going to continue today with some more highlights on the dragon. Because really, all, air quotes for Instagram, all that needs to happen now is finishing the highlights across the illustration. And then doing some of just kind of the added bonus features. So making sure that those deep shadows that we were hiding a little bit earlier, making sure that those are in the right place. Excuse me, we're going to leave the neighbors alone, okay? Come here, buddy. Over here. That's good boy. Thank you. Just make sure that those big shadows are in the right place, and then I have them all. I know there's a few that I haven't put in yet. Make sure that those are all ready, and then we're going to go into some fancy features, just kind of added little accents and things like that I want to add. And so we'll see how far that goes. So I try and do stick to a 2-month schedule here, but I might let this one, because there's so much to do. I may let this guy just kind of carry over a little bit into Canadian Thanksgiving, which is the weekend after this one that we have upcoming. Hang on one second. Mojo wants to play the game. Come here, handsome boy. Say hi to the people. This Mojo. So I may give myself an extra week on this one, so I'm not rushing all these details, because I would hate for this to be coming together so smoothly and rush the last little bit. So we'll see how far I get this week, and we'll go from there. For right now, you're going to watch lots of highlighting. Oh my goodness. Nice snuggly guy. Okay, so we're still in Adobe Fresco for those of you just coming in, working on the last legs, last details of this dragon. Now I forgot, I don't have any shadows on those nostril-y areas because I'm not certain I knew what I was going to do with them. I have a few plans. Let's just continue to skip it for now. We'll see what happens. Alrighty. So what have we got going on? We have a lot going on, actually. So I've been mentioning in the streams for the past few weeks that there's going to be a shop update. The main thing that's going to be in there is the coloring book, the new one, and you will also be able to grab last year's if you missed out on it. So that is coming. But make sure you're following me on Instagram and Facebook, because this week I'm going to start posting all the stuff you're going to be able to see in the shop. And I'm going to put everything live on Sunday, so October 1st. So make sure you're following me on Instagram and keep an eye out on my stories and my posts, because I'm going to start putting in all the fantastic things. I have one more email that I'm waiting for. I sent it out today, and I just need the go-ahead. And once I have that, it's all going to go live. I'm very excited. So that last message will dictate the launching, but right now I'm hoping to get everything up for next week so that I have lots of time to ship everything out in time for the holidays. So do keep an eye out on those things. I'm so stoked. And if there's anything you want to see, if you want to make sure that there's something in there that you would like to see, feel free to message, comment below, etc., because I am open to suggestions. So yeah. Other than that, just been kind of reining those ideas in. I get like 1,000 million ideas a day and try and make sure that I don't do too many of them or too much to burn myself out and save some ideas for next year. But I didn't do too much outside of that last week. I was taking a course at our local yarn store for a couple weeks. So I haven't been to Open Studio in a little bit. So Kirsty, if you're on, I'm sorry. I haven't been to Hello Maker in a few weeks, but I'm hoping to get back to that in October to get that up and running. So, but just kind of keep those creative juices going, keep things moving. All right. As much as I like that line, I think that contrast is a little too much. So we're going to pull that back a bit because I like it on that piece itself, but in comparison to the ones around it, I think it's a little bit much. So let's just pull back here a bit. No, not just a bird outside, but okay. No more Joe, you're fine, buddies. Everybody's just gonna go have supper or something. You don't have to worry, the door is locked. Alrighty. I should be careful with my zoom in and zoom out. I don't want to make people sick. So yeah, overall good reset weekend, which was so fun. My mom was down visiting and it was a really good time. We just kind of did our own thing, went at our own pace. We shopped, we ate delicious food. It was fantastic. It was really nice to kind of like reset a little bit there, which was really great. Always good for the soul to just hang out with friends and family. Oh dear. What the heck? Is that the other shadow? Why is that like that? Oh, because the other one blocks it. Okay, never mind. Sorry. There's a couple weird lines I did not like. I was worried about fixing. They don't matter. It's fine. All right, let's finish this section up here. I think if we're able to finish like the red section, I would feel really amazing about that. Oh, thank goodness. That saved me. Because it's obviously the most dominant part of the illustration, but also like it'll set the tone for the rest of the shapes, which is great. Oh my goodness. So this week's going to be really busy working on prep for the next round of illustrations. Like I said last week, I already have my idea for our October-November illustration. And I'm still contemplating my potential Inktober participation, but I think that it'll be minimal or a little different this year just because I have so much to wrap up in time for the holidays this year. I forget where I was going with that thought. That's unfortunate. Yeah, Inktober, I have the next illustration coming up for next month, so we'll probably be doing some of those on the lives. And yeah, just I also have December's planned. Alessandra, I'm so glad you remembered. I just thought as soon as I went live, I was like, I didn't remind everybody on Discord that I was on. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're feeling better than last week. Yeah, that was my bad. I just kind of lost track of time, and I've been doing little bits of everything all over the place, so my brain's a little mushy. Just talking about how I took the weekend off from studio things and planning things and all that kind of stuff, and did some different things to help reset a little bit, which feels amazing. It was a really good weekend. Yeah, so I have December and the October-November illustration planned. Just got to get them down on paper, and then I have to get some of the shop stuff wrapped up so that you guys can all see what's going on, and then see what the interest is. Post it and see what happens. Okay. No worries, I did too. Got a new mattress today finally. It was a bit of a struggle. Can you hear the cars? I live on a road that is kind of long and windy. So this time of day after rush hour, it's a very popular roadway. And people like to, drive the speed limit and respectfully. That's why usually Mojo and I are hanging out inside this time of day. So you said you got a new mattress today. Finally, that's amazing. Actually, that feels like in the air. I think I've talked to 2 or 3 separate people just in the past few days that want to get new mattresses. Hey, if it's going to help you, go for it, man. I'm getting a little concerned about some of the stuff I'm seeing in the paper patterns. You can see here at the bottom of this red, and even into here, where the words are. That's kind of where I did the fill, and it doesn't quite. Didn't have enough threshold on it to fill that space. So I think what I may have to do, I won't do it today, but I think I may have to go back into the raw file, and I have to for other reasons anyway, but go in for more specific details and stuff and really make sure I clean all those up, because I thought I did, but I can see quite a few while I'm doing these highlights. They may not matter when I get the shadows and stuff turned on, but I want to make sure it's nice and clean. So that'll be an offline thing that I probably do. Maybe Friday night, just chilling, cleaning it all up. Oh my goodness. So Alessandra, are you working on anything tonight? Are you just hanging out and resting after moving a mattress? Just chilling? I missed all the live streams this weekend. I will try and catch up this weekend, actually. Trying to meet up with some family this weekend for breakfast, but it's proving more difficult than I thought. Restaurants don't do breakfast on Saturdays, it turns out. So I gotta figure out what the heck I'm gonna do. But that's a tomorrow morning errand problem. Okie dokie. God, I'm on a break right now. I didn't stream this weekend actually, but did work on some of my zines. I got 3 weeks left to finish them. Oh my goodness. You and I are in a similar boat, girlfriend. I like a deadline because it keeps me on top of things. Like this illustration, I set 2 months for myself. And the past few ones as well. Last year it was a month I was doing these, but you feel the pressure because like there's so much of the highlights I have to do between now and next week. But it helps get it done because otherwise I would just start more and more new projects and I would just never get it done. I'm also a knitter, for those of you who don't know, and that's what my knitting pile is right now. I keep starting things and I'm not really finishing things right now, so there's always something to work on, I guess, but it's not where the motivation is right now, I guess. Motivation to finish, let's say. I knit a lot, just not finishing anything. Be part of a Zines Fest and mental health panel, so I need to get them done. Ooh, that's interesting. Where is that going to be held? That sounds really interesting. Having a purpose for them too is super great. I know I've had a couple of people ask me about my coloring books for purposes like that, so while I have their attention, I want to get this year's done in time. That's very cool. Get your art out there. I love it. All right, making some progress. All right. It's at a library they do art therapy workshops at. That's really cool. Great opportunity. It's like a library too, nice local situation. So a comfort zone, which is great. Not too out of the element, but hopefully some new people will be there. That sounds awesome. As I've mentioned to you, but yeah, art therapy interests me so much because it's kind of like I use it kind of that way. So I'm always interested in the impacts that other people have and what they see. So very cool work. Very cool. It's nice to be local for events like that. We have Adobe Max starts in a couple weeks, and I had signed up to try and have some work funding to go. I was not chosen. It's okay. It's for different reasons. Kind of my current role that I'm in, it doesn't make sense to go. But then also hearing the guys who are going, the logistical coordination, going that far is just too much. It's too much. The librarian has told all the libraries about it. And they contact me to do art therapy workshops for this year, next year. Oh, you're already all booked up. Good job. That's amazing. Yeah, it's good to have that kind of plan. I know I get contacted from people to do like logos and things like that, but I've never really done it kind of professionally, mostly for friends and family. But I want to kind of put that out there, but I have to get a good schedule because otherwise I'd book myself to the very top. That's really cool. Word of mouth. I love it. It's the best form of marketing, that's for sure. Oh, well, that wasn't a very good attempt. Let's try that again, shall we? I have a client to do art therapy for, and she always spells done after she finishes a task. Cracks me up. That's a good idea. It's like crossing something off on the to-do list. Like I'm one of those people who will put like make to-do list, check. Write items on to-do list, check. Just so I feel extra productive. But writing down when you're done, that's, hey. If I wasn't afraid of accidentally saving the word done over this, oh, she spells it out loud. That's amazing. That's even better because I was going to say I was just going to write done on this screen when I'm done, but I'd be afraid I would accidentally save it that way and have to erase it out. So I'm not going to be doing that right now. Hey, that sounds like a great idea. I love it. Okay, so let's see how that looks with our shadow on. Oh dear, that's absolutely not what I wanted to do. There we go. Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. Coming together. Holy. Living. Okay, so let's work on this side here. We'll work through the red. Like I said, I want to get all the red done because I have that brush color chosen and I want to just kind of get it all done at once here. I'd like to not bounce back and forth, but hopefully we can get to another color soon. This is looking great, saying and spelling it out loud just for you. You're awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, I am really super excited with how this is coming out. Like, I'm not trying to be weird or like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. I just am like loving how this is actually coming together the way I'm kind of picturing in my head, almost better than I'm picturing in my head, because that's not always the case with some pieces. So it's extra exciting when it does happen. Sorry, Instagram was like up my nose there. Yeah, it's just nice to see when things come together, especially with how uncertain I was with this one, the approach. I didn't know how the dragon was going to come out because I haven't really done a full dragon before. So to see it come together in this way, in a really exciting kind of, with a little bit of an intimidating factor, yeah, that's my favorite. I might take on that kind of spelling out loud. I was taking sign language courses. A friend of mine and I were taking them throughout the year. The next class that came up, I wasn't able to get into it for this semester, but I'm going to try for next semester. But when you say spelling out loud, I'll just be spelling words out loud all the time because I don't know the words for them, the actual signs for them just yet. So you like mid-sentence, I'll be just kind of like signing letters. Hey, Mojo. Come here, buddy. Mojo. There's good boy. So yeah, makes you slow down and think about it for a minute. Come here, bud. Good boy. What is this? Oops, I'm sorry, Instagram. Yeah, that's part of that paper layering. Okay, it might not be a problem. We'll just keep going. Oh, that's not what we wanted. We want the brush, you silly. English is my third language. I spell things all the time. That's amazing. I'm always wicked impressed with people who learn English, because I think it would be one of the tougher languages to learn. I speak French, and I, like, through my sister, knew a little bit of Spanish when I went to South America, but English has just got so many weird nuances that I'm always impressed with people who can learn, who sit down to learn English. I'm just glad I knew it first, just because it's a challenge. It's a challenge some days, and it's my first language. So good for you. I'm super impressed. I love how the highlights bringing this to life so much. Like, I didn't realize how it looked amazing without the highlight, but just kind of how like dark and kind of a little flat it looked. Like this is just, it's glowing. It's awesome. That we did good color picking this time. Whew. That to me is the wild card. I can get the basic fill the shapes situation, except I'm filling the shapes with the right color. That's the wild card. So what's your process of choosing the colors? Excellent. Okay, so what I do for choosing the colors. So when I was working through the ball gown, what I did was I had the highlights and the shadows. I was using the same color across the illustration. So no matter what the pattern was underneath, I was using the same one. But you can see the range between, say, the kind of flower with the letters, how it's a grayer pattern, to the red, the difference. I did almost all, I think I did all the shadows, and it just looked awful because it looked really flat because it was grayed out, finding a middle ground. There wasn't a lot of life to it. So what I opted to do instead, cool feature with fresco, for those of you who haven't seen this, if you place anything into a fresco file, now this might not come through the exact right way because I think I've merged my layers, but we'll see. If you go into your color palettes, oh, it did maintain them. Okay, good. So if you add an illustration or a screenshot or anything, or in the case of this illustration, the paper patterns that I have scanned into my computer and then sent over to my iPad, when you put them in, Fresco creates a little bit of a palette for you based off of that color, based off of that document, so the illustration or the pattern or whatever. So unfortunately mine are all pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, but I think if you're going to be naming it, it'll be easier if you name them different colors or names or anything, but because I use these patterns quite a bit, I know which paper pattern I'm kind of looking for. So to make sure, because I'm not really great, I don't feel super confident in my color theory, that I'm picking a color out of like the eyedropper or something like that, or just kind of guessing through like the wheel at the top here, I'm gonna pick something that's not quite matching. It might be a little too blue or something like that. So I use this. So when we were picking the highlight color last week, I used the red palette, which is this Tarot Pattern 7 here at the bottom, and I used some of the lighter ones, and all I did was I had the overlay layer ready to go. I picked a color and then I just laid it in a big brush over top of the red to see if it really worked. The first one we tried was a little dull, and then I picked the next one, which is whichever one we're using now, here at the plus sign and beside the plus sign, and it has a little bit more of a peachy tone, as you can see, to it. And so it brought a lot of life and light to it, which is what I'm hoping for, because this is supposed to be a stained glass inspired, and I want that kind of backlit kind of look. So I use that, and then that way, if I'm using these palettes that Fresco creates, then I'm using something that matches with the pattern and kind of goes with it. I'm not competing with it in any way or trying to overlay it or gray it out or anything like that. So when we're done with the red, when I move on to some of these more lighter patterns, I'm going to be choosing from those palettes just to make sure that they relate a little bit better. And then if I change as I go through the different patterns, then it gives them a little bit more life. I'm not competing with the pattern underneath. So this is a really great thing. And then if you're not aware of it, the very top palette, when you go to pick your color, this one at the very top, these are all the ones that you've used in the file already. So even if you've used and erased a file, like a line, like so the little peachy one just to the right of the one that's chosen, that's the one we tried last week and didn't work. So you'll still have those building up in there. But as you use them, they'll keep moving to the top of that palette. So usually everything on that top row is going to be what you're using recently. And then, so if you need to go back and forth between colors, I try not to do that just because I can do all of each one at once. But if I have to go back, I miss a section or something, all of those are going to be saved at that very top there, which is great for me because then I don't have to guess. And then when we're doing these overlays and things, where the eyedropper won't work, because it's my color mixed with what's underneath, I don't have to worry about guessing at what that color was. I can just go back and use it as is. Hello, Lincoln. Welcome to the live. For Monday night, we are illustrating dragons. So when I moved forward with that in the with the ball gown, I saw it had a lot more life. So I brought that theory, that thing that I learned, into the Kraken illustration, and I'm using it here. Looks amazing. Thank you so much, Odari. I am living for this illustration. It is so much fun. It really helps to be excited about a project. Very cool. That's why I like that I can kind of illustrate my own things right now. So if you're illustrating for other people, find excitement in it, and it will turn out awesome. Okay. Chicken casserole. That sounds delicious. I like to do that with my leftover turkey, because I've probably already made sandwiches and soup and other things. So when there's leftovers left, I do the casserole. Looks like a cutout. It's coming out of the electronic. I'm not sure. But yes, I'm hoping for paper cutouts. Kind of my paper cutout / stained glass is my somehow style. I talked about that a little bit when I had my company down for this weekend. We were in like some crafting stores and different things, and I said I really stressed myself out about when I started to really do these lives and my posts, and when I separated some of my accounts out so that like I could really just show my art in one place. I stressed out about having a style, and I was like, oh, what if I can't post this because it's not like everything else, and blah, blah, blah. Googled all of it and all that kind of stuff. Should I do this? Should I do that? But then I realized, I talked to a friend and she's like, oh no, I know when an Arian illustration is up. Like, you have a style for sure. And then a lot of things kind of just happen. Like, I became the coloring book person, or I've become not so much on the lives, you can't tell, but almost every other aspect of my creative life, there's a gnome involvement somehow. Fell into those. So it just kind of happens. So if you're stressing out about your style, don't worry. Keep creating. You'll find it. Or you probably already have it. Nice. I'll have to make turkey casserole. So good. It's got like peas and carrots and like biscuits on top. I forget how the sauce works. Maybe mushroom soup. It's been a while since I made the turkey casserole. But basically chicken casserole. Just use turkey instead of chicken. I'm sure it'll be the same. But it's perfect for, like, that's a perfect meal for this kind of delicious, like, cool, rainy day. That's my favorite kind of meal. Warm right out of the oven. I'm gonna have to cook soup soon. Oh, guys, fall's my season. I'm living. I'm so excited. Oh, sorry, Instagram. You're not seeing what I'm doing. Okay. DM me some. That would be awesome. If you could just send little bits of food to people, that would be delicious. That would have been awesome in the pandemic, I guess. we're on our way. Who knows? Emailing food. A little bit of an aggressive attack there. Hopefully I didn't mess up the other one too much. Let's see. Oh, no, we're good. Phew. Nice. That's how I make chicken casserole. I'll use that next time. Nice. You know? There's always so much more turkey at the end of the meal than everybody thinks that there will be. So, hate to waste it. Did you go live this weekend, Odari? Did we do more characters? I'm only asking because I'm pretty sure my phone's just stopping telling me things. I think it's just trying to be upgraded. I don't think my tech's telling me everything it's supposed to be telling me right now. Oh, dear. Yeah, that's fine. Okie dokie. Oh, we're making progress, guys. I drew Sucker Punch. She's awesome. Oh man, I'm sorry I missed that. That would have been super fun. I'll have to go back and check those out because your characters are so fun. Oh my goodness gracious. So you have confirmed my phone's just not telling me things. Like I wasn't watching streams this weekend, like I was out doing stuff, but usually it'll be like, hey, so-and-so's doing a thing, so I'll check it out later. I'll go check my notifications. Sheesh Louise. Okay. Amazing. Come on, you. There you go. Lincoln says, I don't like chicken. Don't judge me, please. I'm a nice guy. That's okay. Some people don't like chicken. I just find it's a very versatile meat. So I know, like, if I get a chicken, I can pretty much do anything I want with it. Whereas I'm a little less versatile with, like, steak or something. I guess ground beef's kind of like that. I'm a nice guy. Oh, so funny. It's funny how people are with food. Like, I found out recently my nephew loves broccoli. And I've tried it since. I really, really don't like broccoli. It's like, oh, just when that kid and I thought we were on the same page. Jeez Louise. Not my jam. Ugh. I thought of broccoli jam. Blech. That would be awful too. Okay, no more broccoli. Yeah, what do you like instead of chicken? So everybody's got their thing. That's totally fine. I get it. Fish, meat, and eggs. Classic. See, like, eggs are my favorite because they're wicked versatile. I always, almost every opportunity I get, will have breakfast for supper because I love eggs so much. They're so good. Excellent choices, though. Oops. That's not the lasso tool. There we go. All right, next week's the last week that I will be working on the Moonstone on stream, starting on Spooktober, all traditional art, paper, and ink streams. Awesome. So is that the last week you're working on Moonstone like ever, or are you just taking like an October break? Just trying to mentally prepare myself. But the traditional art, I love it. I did that, I think my first Inktober a few years back. It was in 2020. And I did traditional stuff because that was kind of part of my kickstart back into my studio. Between that and Max being virtual, that was my kind of kick back into my studio and stuff. But definitely using pen, paper, markers, all that kind of stuff. That was definitely the thing. I didn't use my Wacom tablet. Like, I didn't have my iPad yet, and I don't even think Fresco was a thing. But definitely the traditional pieces because I miss my markers sometimes. October break. Phew. I was going to say, do you need your illustration? I'm sorry I didn't work on it anymore. I will work on it some more. Maybe later this week. Oh, that's exciting. Well, it's good to switch it up now and again. Change the process. And again, I can't say anything bad about going back to traditional stuff for a little bit. I have some canvases here that want some love, but that's going to be a New Year project for me. I've got lots out here. And I don't have a lot of space, so I think once I get done with the shop things, I'm going to have a Christmas tree up here. So I really won't have room for that and my canvas, my easel, and all that kind of stuff. So next year, new year, new arts. Okay, so let's see. So some of these areas are a little bit darker because I have that heavy shadow up on top. Usually when I'm doing these illustrations, I won't have put the heavy shadows in just yet. But I wanted to put them in just to make sure that what I was picturing happening was happening. So even though there's the dark shadow here, I still want to put in the highlight. Even though you can see it's not as bright as the rest of them, I still want to put it in here just so that it has a couple things. The overlaying of the pattern, like the colors. So you have the overlay impacting the pattern below, and then the shadow impacting the overlay and the pattern below. Just to give the right effects and kind of get that, see how it's like kind of like a glowy orange, which is kind of working really well for the effect that I'm hoping for. But then also if something changes in my head and I want to take out these really big heavy shadows, I don't have to go back in and do the highlights. They'll already be there. So in my past illustrations, I've not done the heavy shadows till the very end. And so then it has the same effect. The highlights will already be done. It'll just be over top. I've just done them in a different order this time. But with the layering and the effects that are on those layers, the outcome's the same. I'm going to talk to Voodoo Val and see if we can do a Halloween stream for Adobe Live. That would be so fun. That would be so much fun. That would be wicked. I would tune into that. Definitely. That sounds like so much fun. Halloween joint stream. Spooky. Yeah, it's kind of fun to go over at the end of something like that, and like if you do Inktober or Spooktober or whatever it is you do. I liked going back at the end and kind of just seeing all the pieces I did and kind of their impact as well. Like, more often than not, the one I'm not really living for, the rest of the internet loves. So post the things. Always post the things. You never know what people are going to like. Unless it's an illustration you never want to draw again, because you'll probably be drawing it forever. So maybe find the fine line. But yeah, it's fun to go back and see how it does and how they all look together as a group. So fun, because last year I did Inktober and I did markers and grayscale, but I did a theme. Like, they were all masks, like eye masks, like masquerade ones, not face masks, not COVID masks. They were like masquerade masks. So I did one designed by, I used the word for the inspiration to kind of do the mask. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. Not all of them turned out as I hoped they would, but I was almost on a daily development on those. I didn't get as much preparation last year as I hoped I would. Hey Lefty, welcome to the stream. Hope I'm getting that right. Company Tucker's mojo out. He's sleeping. He hasn't slept through the live stream in a long time. More company. More chill mojo. I have to do some things that we can do a joint stream together on Moonstone. It's coming. It's been busy. I totally hear you. I've been completely busy too. As long as you're not waiting for that illustration to be finished from me, then I can wait whenever you're ready. Even if we have to wait till the new year. But if you're aching to get that illustration done, then we'll talk. But no panic rush. It's been crazy over here too. We started that project and just like the schedule filled up like crazy. I have an art commission, but rarely any time. Yeah, it's sounding like a theme around here. Everybody's got work to do, but tight. It's tight schedules around here. So I could use 5 more hours in a day. I think that could ease up a few things. I've said to people, I don't want to be greedy. Just 5 hours. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, not to worry. We'll set something up, Odari. I'm not too worried about it. We will get there. All right, guys. Oh my goodness gracious. Can we just, like, for a second? I'm going to do this again. It seems so simple. Just a little bit of extra, like, color on the one... on each little piece, and it like looks like it's glowing. This is awesome, if I do say so myself. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna keep going for a little bit here. Just as I'm so inspired, we'll see if we can get most of this other side done. I don't know if we'll be able to finish it, but we'll work on it. I'm in a good groove. Oh, nice, same here. We are busy people. Yep. Us creative people. Always busy. Especially when the creative juices are in abundance. You just want to make all the things you think about. I just run out of time sometimes. Okay, I'm just going to turn these off because these shadows are a little extra dark, and I want to make sure I'm covering these spaces in the right way. Just in case. All busy people, but hopefully like a good kind of busy. Like, it's not like good to be like a stressful busy. Hopefully like I'm motivated, busy. Although this time of year, I feel like it could be any kind of busy. Just with holidays coming up and anybody with kids who are back to school. I feel like this time of year is almost tougher to coordinate than the summer because everybody's so busy. Or more booked, I think. More booked up with stuff. Sports and after school activities and all that madness. Just looking at the line art here, and I'm really glad that I had it kind of laid out nice from the top. I was working on something last week, and I didn't have the line art ironed out the way I wanted to at the start, and it was just really hard to fix after. So something that where I'm really glad with these bigger illustrations, I'm planning ahead nicely. It's a lot easier to clean up afterwards, as in there's none, which is great. After the new year would be perfect. The reason is I need time to finish writing the story. We have time. Perfection. Okay, I like to hear that. That's great. So I just don't want to be holding anybody up, but I also don't want to get in the way of the story writing because I'm very excited to see where these characters go. So stoked. So yeah, I was working through something and I'm having like a mental block. Maybe I was on the live and you guys are just hearing this for a second time. But yeah, like I didn't have my line art ironed out from the start, and I had to put something in and it was just not smooth. It was a bit of a challenge, so that's why it's not always the case for everybody, but I know for me, and especially in these pieces, some other illustrations it doesn't matter as much, but on these illustrations it definitely does. The line art has to be there. It has to be in the right space. Actually, I know what it was. I was working on some of the coloring books, and this is not any fault of my own. I was working on the coloring book pages for this year. But I'm revisiting some of my art from last year and the year before. And the early Behance projects that I was doing, I wasn't using Fresco yet, and I wasn't using vector brushes. It's all been a very large, evolving learning process. So it's interesting to go back to some of the early ones and see how I did my line art, or didn't. Like I didn't really have a hierarchy. It's just interesting to see the changes in my art in just a couple years, and see how it changes. But yeah, the one illustration I was looking at, I'm like, I'm glad I spend my time with the line art first now, because they were harder to finalize than these are. So as long as your pieces are teaching you stuff, that's all you need. It's when they stop teaching you stuff that they got a problem. Gotta keep learning. Okay, what do we got? Okay, 802. How much do we have left? quite a bit. Okay, we'll finish up to above his ear, and then we'll let you guys get on with your day here. So I'm going to work on this, and then like I said, I may give it, another week. If I was right on my 2-month deadline, this would be done on Sunday, but I have quite a bit I have to get done in time for next week. So we may be doing some finalizing of details, but I'm hoping to get to a point where it's a lot of the fun kind of accent stuff and finishing details for us all. So we might be working on this guy. If not, I'll have a little quick illustration, maybe kick off Inktober or something all together. Is that right? Is that the right math? Yeah, it is, eh? Ugh, how did that happen? I thought there was another week. But yeah, we'll do something exciting next week, but then at the week after for sure, we'll be getting into our second illustration. The time is flying, guys. I don't know how this is happening. We're just having too much fun. So for the live streams for Spooktober, Odari, do you stream like every day, or are you just doing your weekly streams and you'll be doing your art on those streams? It always sounds like, for me, it always sounds like a great idea to commit to doing it every single day, and I get really, really burnt out quick. Hey Ashraful, thanks for tuning in. We'll sneak in a couple little extra sections here so you don't miss some of the stream. I'm gonna wrap up here soon. Thanks for tuning in though. Bye Lincoln, thanks for tuning in. Busy night tonight. I like to see all these new faces and revisiting faces. Makes me so happy. All right, a couple more here. Oh, good Lord, what a mess. Okay. Oh my goodness. As for those of you who came in, I'm going to do weekends, but I'll draw every day off stream. What am I creating? I am creating this piece of magic. Good night, Erin. Hope you have a good week. I'm going to go and relax and get ready for work tomorrow. Gotta wake up. Early dentist appointment. Boo. Okay, thank you for tuning in, Alessandra. I'm going to try and check out your streams this week. And good luck with all your prep. I'm sure you'll do great. So we are working on this illustration right here. So I think I'm going to take my son and I may do tomorrow's stream. That's awesome. I love when you and your son are doing your illustrations. It's so fun to see the two of you interacting and kind of like your different takes on the illustrations. So much fun. I love it. So I'll be excited to see those streams as well. Okay, so this is where we're at with this. This is my dragon. My 2-month illustration for August and September. August and September plus 1 week, I think. So we were working on our overlays. This is what we worked on this week. Added a little bit more to this section. So I'm going to spend some more time this week getting all these highlights done. And then hopefully I won't have too many more left. And then we can do some of the fun accents. I got to clean up the paper patterns in the back as well. So next week will be accents. or a finished piece. Maybe a miracle will happen and I will be done this beautiful dragon, and I will show you the finished product next week. But probably working on this a little bit. One more live, I think. Just needs a little bit more attention to get that final detail going. Looks fantastic as always. Thank you so much. I am thrilled with this. Yeah, so but I will let you all get back to your evening. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in tonight. As always, it makes a really great way to start the week. Gets a little bit of creativity in during the day. But as I was saying to those of you who weren't on the stream when I started, please follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I am going to be updating the Hues and Tones shop with more things this year. So last year I sold the coloring books. This year I will be selling them again, plus a new coloring book. And then I have a bunch of other things I'm going to throw in the shop this year. I'm waiting to hear on one more piece of knowledge, and then I'm going to hopefully be able to launch everything this weekend. But to get the final date and everything, please follow me on all the socials so that you can get those results. Facebook and Instagram will be the most up to date. I don't really want to sell things on Behance here. I don't think it sounds right. Not from how I'm approaching it anyway. So definitely follow Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff's going to go up there. And when I have a final date, once I hear that one last little bit of information, I'm going to set a solid date, and hopefully everything will be up and available to start shopping before the live next week. But whether it's up or not, I'm going to be here next week, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So definitely continue to check things out here, and keep doing fabulous art. Good luck on everybody's projects. Everybody seems to be really busy right now, so good luck on all your projects, and I'll keep myself busy, and I will see you all next week. Have a great night, guys. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.